In this video, I want to review something you might come across where you receive a drawing from a drafter and you need to export this drawing for use of the total station. The problem is, what you can see here, is that it includes so many layers that you have no idea what is going on and what your layout is supposed to show. So when you come across this, what's going on is if you go to your layer properties, you'll see that there's tons of layers in here, and you might not even know what these layers represent. If you do, you can edit these as you want and extract the drawing as you please. Of course, that's always an option. However, sometimes there's an easier way that I want to show you very quickly in this video. You'll notice that drafters almost always at the bottom prepare what they call paper space. Paper space is where the drafters prepare a drawing for a printout or some sort of display to clearly show you what a part of the drawing represents. So in this case, let's say that I want to extract and look at the foundation plan that the drafter prepared. When I open the foundation plan, what you'll notice is that it's significantly less busy. I'm only looking at the foundation objects, but you'll see if I double click in the model space of this area, so I'm going to double click into space, and this little solid black line now is putting me in model space mode, even though I'm looking at paper space. I can literally draw line work in this area and it will appear on the model tab. I'm in the model space view, and if I go to my layer properties, you'll notice that there's a new column in my layers. It's called VP Freeze. VP stands for viewport. So even though some of the layers are turned on for the model space, which you see here, they're frozen by these snowflake images in this area. So I have some that are frozen, some that are turned on. So what the drafter did is he or she modeled in the model space just as they wanted to. And then over in the foundation view, they made sure that in the model space view of the paper space, they purposely froze some layers only in the viewport. This is so that they can manage what they're looking at in the paper space themselves. So what do? How do you make sure that you can extract just the view you need from this model space? How can you do that? Well, you can do one of two things, and quite frankly, they're both basically the same thing. It just depends on where you do it. So the first thing is, while you're in paper space view, make sure you double click in your model so that you are technically editing the model within paper space. So that's what you see here by this black line. I've double clicked. So now I'm actually able to edit and highlight the model. Once you do so, you'll notice that when you highlight the objects within here, you're only highlighting the objects that are not frozen in this viewport. So since I've highlighted all those objects, what I can do now is I can press the WBLOCK command. And what WBLOCK does is it extracts only the objects that I've highlighted. It will not bring any other data other than what I've highlighted. And boom, once I save it to this location, it will only have those objects saved. So that's one way that you can do this. And now the foundation drawing will be saved. The other way to do this, which is slightly more complicated but gives you a little bit more control to some sort of extent, is I can go to my layer properties within this paper space, and I'll go ahead and organize this layer tab based off the frozen layer. So I'm going to just click on this up here, and you'll notice that I have all of my layers that are turned on at the bottom and all the ones that are turned off up here at the top. So if I highlight, let me turn that off again. If I highlight all of the layers that are turned off in the viewport, like I've done here, so I haven't touched these ones, and I simply freeze them in the model space, right? So I'm actually freezing them within the model space view. You'll notice when I go back to the model space view that I'm only seeing in the model space view what I saw in paper space. And so I can then, in this mode, do the same thing and WBLOCK the drawing out for the same purpose. It just depends on what you want to do. Do you prefer to keep all the layers turned on like the drafter did and do everything in paper space? Or do you want to kind of come back into model space and do more things for yourself and make sure that in model space, they're also turned off and frozen as you see here? It's simply your preference. So whichever way you decide to do, you're going to get this drawing open up, and what you'll notice is because I use WBLOCK, the only layers that are showing up are the ones that were associated with that viewport when I exported it. And now it's perfectly clean and it's not cluttered like I had before. So I hope that helps you prepare your drawings for your tablet when you go to layout, or if you're ever trying to extract certain elements from a drafter's drawing and you're not sure where to go. I hope this might give you a starting point and help you out.